Good afternoon, everyone. Let's have a prayer first before we will have our discussion. Hmm. Father, Son, and Holy
Mang
Spirit.
Inasal New Chicken Inasal Family Size.
Again, good afternoon. So now we will have our discussion for our second topic, entitled Gender Diversity in the Workplace. I will just share my screen. Okay, so this is one of the most interesting topics of our subject, multicultural diversity in the workplace. This is all about on how to uh, equally treat all regardless of its gender. Okay. Okay. What is gender diversity? So when we say gender diversity, this refers to variation of genes within a species. So the genetic diversity enables a population to adapt to its environment and to respond to natural selection. The amount of genetic variation is the basis of speciation. Okay, so in every environment, every organization, even in institution, or even a circle of, there is a diverse gender. There are different genders, no, in accordance to what are the preferences of each gender. Okay? So especially in the workplace. So later we will know what are the factors on how this gender diversity affects the workplace or the operations itself. Okay? What is what is gender all about in corporates? Okay, most of companies, even if they choose to address this with a desire but not essential worldview, if you come with this focus, it can never be central to your plans. On the other hand, many companies have the best intentions because of the preoccupation with the here and now or lack of knowledge of how to go about it and get into an inertia mode. Okay, so in some organization or company, so gender is not really a factor or a problem. So, but in some companies and organization, uh, there is a culture there when wherein a female are being the task of the female, are different from the task of male. Thus, their salary and their wages. So uh, this is the point of this topic. Now we need to know how to manage a certain group or company in connection to gender diversity and how we are going to treat each and everyone with all fairness, in accordance to their skills and abilities. How are we going to position staff, no, based on the knowledge and skills they have, not only because of he is female or he is male. Okay, next. Gender diversity in a corporate world means, or gender diversity means that the proportion of males to females in the workplace, or the proportion of males and females in the workplace. These can have an effect on how people interact and behave with one another in the workplace and would impact culture and social environment. So similar to other demographics, so we have population, racial characteristics, and such all contribute to the work environment. So there is always an atmosphere wherein in a certain company, if there is a female and there is a male, or there are females and males inside organization. So there is an atmosphere wherein uh, what will be the strengths of uh, female staff in compared to male staff, or uh, all male staff are much stronger than the female staff. So we have strengths and weaknesses. So how are we going to manage those strengths and weaknesses, and how are we going to respect each and every employee in connection to gender? Okay, continuous process of men working in manufacturing industries and then growing pattern of women in. So mostly women are working in service industries, and then male or men are working within manufacturing industries, or those jobs that are more physical. Okay? Diversity is very important to both the organization and the members. Diversity brings substantial potential, such as in decision making and improved problem solving, greater creativity and innovation, which leads to enhanced product development and more successful marketing to different types of customers. Okay, so with this topic, so there are our markets, or our prospect, our target markets, or future customers. First can be a male or a female, or men or any women. So with the help of, for example, an organization, no, they have different the gender they are diverse, or they both accept female and male workers. So there are things that this female work part of the organization can contribute, especially when they will produce new products, no? Or they will offer new products. Okay, so in that sense, gender diversity is very important. So we do not need to discriminate people, or a personnel, or an employee, especially when it becomes to gender, because equal. Okay? So everybody has potentials, and then everybody can contribute. Anyone can contribute to in order for a company to become successful. Okay, so in connection to the customers, so as we have different customers, no, different demographics, we have different prospects or buyers. So in that sense, this female or male um, employees can contribute, no, to what ideas they would want, no, to offer their customers, or what products they would want to offer their customers, especially when the project is product development. Okay? So it provides organization with the ability to compete in global markets. Yes. And diverse organizations will be successful as long as diversity, or as long as sufficient amount of communication within them. So this is very important. because people from different cultures perceive messages in different ways. Communication is communication is vital to the performance of an organization. Miscommunication within a diverse workplace will lead to great deal of challenges. So this is also correct. So the most important for me, the most important factor that will affect the success of a workplace or of an organization is communication. So the difference between gender is the secondary. Even if all the faculty, even if all the members of, for example, an institution are all women, but they do not communicate efficiently or they do not have effective communication or harmonious relations. So the result will be unsuccessful as well. Uh, the same thing with men. If they do not communicate properly, if they do not endorse what is needed to be endorsed, or they do not share whatever it is that whatever knowledge that will affect the success of the company. Okay, so still the organization will not be successful or the business will not be successful. Okay. So the wage gap. So changing scenario, diversity is a word synonymous with change and difference is necessary for success in an environment. So here in the picture, as we can see, so there are a pile of coins here. And as we can see, the pile of coins for the man, for this man, is much higher than the pile of coins for this woman. Okay? So in this sense, so there is a wage gap. So why? Why there is a wage gap? That supposedly it should not have a wage gap. No? So for this one, this is a female staff and this is a male staff. No? So it's very visible that um, the salary of this man is than this woman. So this should not be like this. Okay? So everybody should be given the right compensation in accordance to the task given to them and to their skills and abilities. Okay? And then the brain game. So sustaining operations in corporates is a brain game. Employees with greater zeal of attaining higher positions will acquire greater heights. Gender is not taken into consideration while at work. Okay? So who the position is based on the knowledge and the skills of employees, no? Not based on the gender. Okay? So even if your boss or your executive or the executives are mostly are women, so that should not be a problem. So here in the brain game, it says here that employees with greater zeal of attaining higher positions acquire greater heights. Okay? So gender is not taken into consideration while at work. Okay. So women and men experience many of the same success. They have also experienced a number of similar barriers along the way, such as lack of line experience, displaying a style different from the organizational norm, and lack of understanding or of organizational politics. In reaching top, men and women have used many of the same advancement strategies, including exceeding performance expectations, successfully managing others, seeking high visibility assignments, and demonstrating expertise. So there is no such thing that women are not that knowledgeable than men and vice versa. Okay? So they can reach top or they can face lots of barriers, but again, they can reach top, no? They can reach success, okay? Because of this advancement or advancement in strategies, no? Exceeding expectation in terms of performance, and successful management strategies or management styles, okay? And their expertise, not because of gender. How will business benefit from a better mix? Okay. Studies show that greater the diversity of a team in an organization greater is the possibility for innovation and problem solving because uh, two is better than one. So as the saying goes, no? So four heads are better than one. Okay? Statistics also show that companies with women on their board are more successful than those without. Research indicates that a higher percentage of women have what is referred to by Daniel Goldman as emotional intelligence, a set of competencies that distinguishes how people manage feelings, interact, and communicate. I guess this is true. So for example, most of the cashiers in fast food chains and restaurants are female, because they are the ones who will face the customers. They were the ones who will receive the payment no? and then give the orders to the customers. So I think the logic there is that women are more emotional. Women are more, in a sense, hospitable than men. But men have men are more on straight to the point and not dealing much on the emotional side. Why most of the frontliners are women because some men are being assigned to other positions such as management and supervisory positions, no? And most female are put in the position of cashiers and receptionists or frontliners or front desk clerks because they are more emotional in terms of dealing with guests and customers. Okay? Then a set of competencies that distinguishes how people manage feelings, interact, and communicate. Analysis done by dozens of experts in 500 corporations, government and nonprofit organizations worldwide conclude that emotional intelligence is the barometer of excellence on virtually any job. So with increasing diversity, the workforce has an array of the leadership styles and can drive creativity and innovation. So this is correct. So the more variety or the more diverse your organization is, the more opportunity for this organization to come up with better solutions or varying solutions to problems that they will face. Okay? Because there are lots of point of view to see. No? Not only sometimes point of view of women is different from the point of view of men, or point of views of men and point of views of women are different. We see different sides. Okay? Benefits of gender diversity in the workplace. Equality at work, and then satisfaction at workplace, dignity at work, and motivation. Okay? So equality at work. Men and women are also similar in their desire for workplace flexibility, demonstrating that balancing work and personal responsibilities is not simply a women's issue. Only women are having problems in terms of their personal lives. No? Also, men are experiencing personal problems uh, that might affect their job, no, or their work. Okay, although women face more challenges in achieving work-life balance, so this is correct. Women and men equally desire a variety of informal, flexible work arrangements. So clearly, workplace flexibility is no longer just about women and childcare, but is more likely a quality of life issue for all employees. So, different men and women are different, have their different ways of facing problems, personal problems, also have different ways on how to solve this. Okay, even it's personal or even in their professional lives. So meaning equality at work can be manifested by this, by the situation because everyone is equal, in terms of handling problems, but they just have different points of view about solving these problems. Okay? Then satisfaction at workplace. The majority of both women and men report comfort with their choices in terms of work satisfaction. Okay? 75% or more of genders are satisfied with current positions where employers and the respect with which they are treated by company and leadership. So everybody really wants to have or to feel respected, no, within uh, any type of job, no. So all of us wanted respected. All of us wanted to be heard, no, regardless of what gender we have. Okay, and those ones, no, or those the feeling of being accepted and being heard is are some of the reasons or just some of the reasons on why we are being satisfied in our workplace and why we stay that long in our workplace. And if not, no, if we are not feeling respected and heard, no, in our gender, no, we are we might feel bad and we might go into another job na lang, no? Instead of staying in that job. Okay? Dignity at work policy. Okay? So employees are viewed as big assets of the company nowadays, which increases operational efficiency. Companies are committed to implement and promote measures to protect the dignity of employees and to encourage respect for others at work. New policy of companies is to value the contribution of all our people and aim to create environment or a work environment that is free from harassment, bullying, and disrespectful behavior, and where any complaints of such conduct that may arise are dealt with as quickly and effectively as possible. So, so for us, no, for you, for a greater future, and I'm sure you will work in different companies, hotels, and restaurants someday. No, if ever you feel or if ever you are treated this way, you need to speak up and do not allow people to bully, to harass, or to disrespect you because of your gender. Okay, so take out in our minds that female are weak and they tend into feeling so emotional whenever dealing with problems, no, or the thing that they cannot manage or they cannot supervise. No, it's not like that. So again, everyone has its own strengths and weaknesses. So we need to respect and to wait and to see on how they are going to problems whenever it arises. So we need to respect each other. Okay? So we need to believe that everybody has potential and knowledge that will contribute to the growth of the company. Okay? So again, do not allow anyone or anybody to disrespect, harass, or bully in your workplace. Okay? Motivation. So motivation is an integral part of business strategy by corporates helping employees to sustain work pressure. A few and medium companies have also become aware and put policies in place. Companies in this sector recognize the business imperative of having more women in their organizations, while the larger ones emphasize their directives. Resource constraints in this recessionary times have concentrated or constrained many from formulating and putting in place gender inclusive policies and practices. Okay, so as motivation is an integral part of business strategy, okay, so you need to motivate each and every one, each and every member of your organization, no, and then most of the motivators now, according to this, are women. Okay, so while the larger ones emphasize their diversity directives, resource constraints in this recessionary times because I think women are more emotional, like what I've said, and they are more they more to be more empathetic, or I sorry, they tend to feel uh, empathy, empathy to others. No, they tend to feel or to give advice or motivation because they are really more on the emotional side of the personality. So that's about motivation. So dito na, here, no, in our organization's point of view, gender inclusion is a matter of survival. Gender is a very integral part of their talent base, and investment in gender inclusion is a matter of survival. An inclusive culture helps both in retention and maximization of its human capital. For small and young organizations, inclusiveness initiatives will give them more advantage of embedding it more easily into the culture of the organization. So this help organizations to grow global and employees to be known globally. So here, no, this is very um, true. Gender inclusion is a matter of uh, survival. So uh, if you include all genders in your company, no, or in your business, you will not just select men or women only in your workplace, no. So as we connect the explanation a while ago, um, four heads are better than one. So more knowledge, more skills can create a more successful organization, a more successful company, and a more, of course, profitable business because they have lots of knowledge and skills now to impart in your organization. Okay? Mostly, also they have different strengths and weaknesses. Wherein this strength can be as a way or a strategy in order to have uh, in order to win, for example, uh, product development or in order to gather customers. So these behaviors, no, differ. Even this differ, no, from men and women are very essential in an organization. Okay? Business mantra. So every man should contain a woman inside to do any business, and then every woman should contain a man inside to sustain the operation. Okay. So as I understand this business mantra, so again, men and women their strengths and weaknesses that can be beneficial to the company. Okay. So one cannot stand, man cannot stand without a woman, and the business may not be complete without a woman in it. Okay. So both are important. Okay. Are necessity. Both are needed in order to the business to become successful. Of course, in hospitality industry sector. Okay. Okay. So these are my references. Before we will end, I would like to share to you uh, the reading material from the line zero. So the title of this reading material is the positive effects of gender diversity in the workplace. Okay. Okay, I will share to you this reading material entitled again, The Positive Impacts of or Effects of Gender Diversity in the Workplace. Okay, so let's talk about gender diversity in the workplace. Okay, so gender diversity again is in the workplace is becoming a major factor in many ways. Not only does it help new employees to determine whether or not they want to work in the organization or for the organization in question, but there are several other positive effects that organizations can take advantage of it. Now, if they make diversity in the workplace a priority. Okay. So if we think outside of the box, gender diversity in the workplace can be addressed by unique and interesting tools. So they have lots of tools to use. Okay. So here in the example, so this is called the workplace by Facebook's bots, chats, and live video features. Okay. So let's go. Gender diversity in the workplace, three ways to be inclusive. To challenge gender stereotypes. Okay, so let's talk about ways on how to ensure organization has enough gender diversity in the workplace. So it seems silly to think that men and women still aren't being treated equal. Yes, there are still stereotypes that are out of there regarding how men and women should behave. Okay, so for instance, one that we hear quite often is that certain behavior in men is seen as assertive, whereas the same behavior in women is seen as bossy. Okay, so this is true. So this gender stereotyping needs to stop. So to be really inclusive organization, you need to take a look of what language could be perpetuating a gender stereotype. So especially consider your corporate literature and your corporate policies. Okay. Do they encourage inclusiveness? Okay. So you need to, in order to avoid this gender stereotypes, you need to include in your corporate policies, no, if you need to encourage inclusiveness or not. Okay, or how are you going to encourage inclusiveness? So next is find ways to amplify a variety of voices. So it's an unfortunate fact that gender stereotyping, as mentioned above, is still happening, but it's also happening in workplace communications. So, for example, in meetings, so are you a female, transgender, or non-binary employees treated the same way as your male and female employees? As your male employees, how does your organization handle employee opinions or ideas? Are they given appropriate thought? Or are they dismissed outright? So is there bias towards the gender of the person giving their opinion? So do all employees have a safe way to communicate their opinions and ideas? So these are the questions you should make you stop and think about how the various voices in your organization are being heard. Okay? And if necessary, how to change your corporate culture and amplify and ensure those minorities get their fair share at airtime. Okay? So ensure fair promotion practices. So how are people in your organization selected for promotion? Okay, so do you have fair promotion practices? Does everyone in your organization have the same amount of contact with senior leaders and mentors? Okay, so these are the questions that you need to ask your organization. So if you find it difficult to answer these questions, it might be time to take a look of how you promote people within your organization. Okay. A good place to start is to take a look of who makes up your hiring committee. So it is diverse enough. If your hiring committee is exclusively dominated by one over another, how can you ensure that this is not biased towards one gender or another? Okay, so should be this should this should be taken into consideration. Okay, so there are 7 benefits of focusing on gender diversity in the workplace. So as mentioned, there are several benefits to your organization when you make gender diversity in the workplace a priority. So you need to widen your talent pool. Okay, so how are you going to widen your talent pool? By ensuring that you have both women and men and transgender people on your team that you can get from. So you can get benefit from different points of views and increase the creativity and innovation on your team. Okay? So it should be obvious, but organizations still do not understand that by not placing an emphasis on gender diversity. they are actually limiting how much talent is coming into their organization. So this is very true. By ensuring that you have a healthy mix of women and men or transgender and non-binary people on your team, you benefit from these different points of views and increase the level of creativity and innovation of your team. So also we have the multiple perspectives. No? By ensuring that you have both women and men and transgender people on your team, you can benefit from these different points of views and increase the creativity and innovation on your team. So women and men or even transgenders and non-binary people all have a different point of view which comes from different life experiences. So for example, isn't a person in the world that could dispute the fact that women experience buying a car differently than men do. By ensuring that you have gender diversity on your team, you can benefit from these different points of views and increase creativity and innovation to your team. Okay, plus, it helps your organization to challenge gender stereotypes, which can in turn promote your corporate brand as gender inclusive. So next we have the enhanced collaboration. So research has concluded that groups with more women in it are actually better at taking turns in the conversation, which in turn helps them to share knowledge and skills between each other. Okay. So there isn't a person out there who hasn't been in a meeting where they feel like they can get a word advice. So, but research has concluded that groups with more women in it are actually better at taking turns in the conversation, which in turn helps them to share their knowledge and skills between each other. So, and collaborating face to face on projects becomes much easier when your organization can open such important line of communication. Okay. Next is improve your staff retention. So by putting an emphasis on having an inclusive culture, you can boost morale and increase opportunities for employees, which will in turn lead to higher employee retention rates and save your business time and money in the long run. Okay? So what organization doesn't want to have significantly lower employee turnover rate, right? So when you can retain your employees, you save big in terms of time and money spent on not only recruiting new candidates. So if your employees retain in your company because they do not experience any problem, no, they are not being discriminated. So your turnover rate will be lessened, no. If you have less turnover rate, no, you can save costs. Okay, because you are not going to hire other candidates to fill in the position. Okay, and then by putting an emphasis on having an inclusive culture, you can boost morale also and opportunities for employees, which will in turn lead to higher employees. Okay, and will save your business in the long run. Okay, next, improve your understanding of customer needs. So ensuring that your employee base reflects your customer, it's far more likely that you'll be able to communicate effectively with them and improve understanding of what your customer needs. If you have a product or service into a specific gender, your customer are most likely coming from all backgrounds. So by ensuring that your employee base reflects your customers, it's far more likely able to communicate effectively. Okay? So with team and improve your understanding of what customers need. So by their diversifying your teams, because you have different either diverse members within your team, you are able to tap or you are able to solve this problem. Okay? And bring together a mix of genders, backgrounds, and ethnicity. Think of all the buying power you are able to get. Okay. Next, improve your organization's reputation. Okay. So for this, once your organization gains a reputation of having a more diverse workforce, you have a powerful recruiting tool, okay, that you created. Okay. So as mentioned in point number 5, having an inclusive culture can be a real hook for employing new people in the organization. So once your organization gains a reputation of having more workers, you have a powerful recruiting tool. Okay. Next is greater profitability. Okay, so according to McKinsey, companies that have more gender diversity are 21% more likely to experience above average profitability, and companies with more culturally and ethnically diverse executive teams were 33% more likely better than average profit. So diversity in this sense is a great benefit for an organization. It has positive impact on when we see the bottom line. Okay. Okay, so these are the 7 positive effects of having a gender diverse workplace. Okay, so I hope you learned something about our topic today. Okay, so as you went or as you go out, in the industry after you graduate, as you work there, you need uh, you need to also consider equality, in terms of gender. You should not discriminate ev- anyone, in terms of gender, whatever gender he has or she has. You should learn how to respect each other of gender. Okay. So thank you very much for today. I hope you learned something. And on the Google Classroom, I just posted an activity, and in a little while, I will be posting a quiz. Okay. So please do all the tasks that are assigned as soon as you can. So the earlier, the better. Okay. Thank you very much and stay safe, everyone.